Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Black Rabbit Collective. It's been a couple weeks since we got into the chair and a lot has happened. I swear that I do not want to be so negative. I want to send out a positive message. However, these county commissioners, you know who you are. Jenny Lynn Hooper, Todd Bryson, John Smith. Y'all know Michael Jennings. You know who you are. Y'all are making it too easy. I want to have some fun, but I don't want to have to harp on all these serious topics. I don't want to have to be petty, but y'all are making me do it. Want to send a big Mother's Day welcome to all the moms out there. Anybody that's tuning in, I woke up first thing this morning and hit up my mom, sent her a message of love. We had a little chat. Miss her dearly. I would not be here. I mean, I know y'all know that, but I would not be here in Western North Carolina doing what I do if it wasn't for all of her support for all of these years. I was not a easy child to raise, and I am so grateful for all that she has done for me. So it is such a nice day out. I took a little stroll this morning. It is such a nice day out. When this stream is up, grab your mama and go outside. Because it is just too nice not to do that. So we're going to get into it. We have a lot to cover today. The commissioners, they're making it easy. They're giving me a lot to cover. There's so much going on that we are like weeks behind. Like today, we're going to be talking about stuff that took place in prior meetings. Like I can't keep up. I can't keep up with the drama. So I do want to share that I had, in an attempt to try to make things a little bit easier on y'all, I have updated the Black Rabbit Collective website, and I will be doing so as this thing progresses throughout. But I've updated the Black Rabbit Collective website, which is blackrabbitcollective.org. And every episode, I will be creating this little tab up at the top that says upcoming episodes. And essentially, what that is that will be links to all of the information that I will be discussing on the episode. So you can follow along with us. I know that sometimes it's difficult to read the news articles and the videos and things that we're sharing on here. And so I'm going to be trying to have most of the things that we're going to be discussing available in that upcoming episode tab, so you can truly follow along. So as you see, I have all the stuff that we'll be going over today there, blackrabbitcollective.org, so that to make things easier for you to follow along. So I did just want to make sure that y'all knew that was there, because I'll be playing stuff off of there. We'll be reading articles off of there. If you tune in when we're not live, and you want to quickly reference something that was brought up on the show, it's going to be right there. So, hopefully that makes things a little bit easier for you, because I know it's been difficult to see and difficult to read. But I have to do my layouts like a certain way in order to get the little videos to clip. So I need to have myself in a decent size screen like that. I know it's hard for y'all to see. So, anyways, yeah, I do want to just start off real quick. I want to catch up with something that took place on our last episode. During our last episode, we reviewed the county commissioners meeting that took place on April 7th, which was over a month ago now. And it was the situation where Jenny Lynn Hooper, Todd Bryson were very unprofessionally grilling board member and new executive director of here in Jackson County about the services that they offer to the unhoused populations. And We reviewed that entire like 30-minute exchange. However, I do have a little bit of a follow-up, a response to something that was said in that exchange that I really failed to bring up in the moment, but I think that it's important. Let me see if I can get this video up real quick. I'm just going to play like a quick clip from that episode. For years, she's heard that people were hauled in here. Let's see. Bear with me for just a moment. All right, let's roll. Let's roll the tape. Let's roll the tape.
For years, I've heard that people were hauled in here and put out.
I know that there's been, I believe, 6 times this year we've purchased Greyhound tickets to get people back connected somewhere else where they have family and resources, because it's easier to get them connected there than for us to try and take care of them with our resources so that we can utilize our resources for the locals.
Now, she said it multiple times. For years, she's heard that people were hauled in here and put out. Now, we haven't necessarily clarified exactly what she means by that, but I have a feeling, my interpretation of those multiple comments is that Jenny Lynn Hooper has heard or feels that unhoused folks are being bussed in here, brought in here via other municipalities, via other organizations. She feels like folks are being dropped off because she sees people that she doesn't recognize carrying backpacks onto the streets. And so I did just want to touch on that real fast because I wanted her to know that she is right. This is actually, she is dead on with this hypothesis that she heard. She is dead on. Not only do I know that this is true, I know exactly who's doing it. I know exactly who's doing it. At the end of the clip, Paul said that they've helped.
And for us to try and connected there, and for us to try because else where they have family and resources.
They've helped out 5 to 6 individuals this year get bus passes back home to wherever they came from. And so the pattern that takes place, the pattern that I experience, I know these individuals on a very personal level. They are my friends. They are my friends. And the pattern that I have observed over the course of the last couple of years is, yes, people are hauled in here. People are brought in. They are brought in. And I know exactly who's doing it. I have spoken to the individuals who have been hauled in here. And the pattern, the guilty party, if you will, the guilty party who is actively participating in Jenny's words, hauling folks in here, is none other than this gentleman right here, Mr. Doug Farmer, Jackson County Sheriff. They are the ones that are bringing folks in here. And I'll tell you exactly how. Out of those 5 individuals that Paul referenced, a handful of them have been brought back. And essentially the pattern is folks will come to our area, to Jackson County, Western North Carolina, for whatever reasons, and they end up getting stuck here. They come here for a job and the job falls through. I got folks that came here for a job and things fell apart during Hurricane Helene. And these individuals find themselves unhoused in Jackson County. And they get arrested for being unhoused. They get arrested for trespassing, for sleeping on a bench, for seeking shelter because we don't have services available. They catch a minor charge. We work with them for however, amount of time that it takes, discover that they do want to go back home. And here in Jackson County, other folks will help them get a bus or help them get transportation back to where they came from. And anywhere between like 3 to 8 months, 9 months later, these individuals are picked up in Charlotte, picked up in Asheville, picked up somewhere in Buncombe County, and brought back by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office for petty warrants, for failure to appear on this trespassing charge that they picked up here for being homeless. So it's like this habitual cycle. I have seen it happen over and over and over again. An individual gets back on their feet, gets back to where they came from, and then the Jackson County Sheriff brings them back. So Jenny, if you want to know who's bringing them in here, all you got to do is waddle down the hallway and go have a word with Sheriff Doug Farmer. As a matter of fact, there's his phone number and email address at the office right there. If anybody tuning in wants to inquire with him on these tactics, I would encourage you to do so, because the way that it was presented by Jenny Lynn Hooper in that April 7th meeting is not how it goes down. It goes down exactly the way that I just explained it to you. Jenny was a little bit off there. So yeah, I just wanted to like really start off with that because it wasn't right. It was very inaccurate. And the sheriff's department is absolutely the most guilty party with bringing folks back in here. So I did also have on that same page, if you stick around to the end, we got the Jenny Lynn Hooper Hauled In Here mixtape, the summer anthem for Jackson County. We'll be playing that song at the end of the episode. So if you stick around to the very end, we will have that song up for, we'll close the show out. We will close the show out with that. So, we're going to kind of like bounce around a little bit. The big thing that we're here for, obviously everybody knows, what went down this week in this week's county commissioners meeting. If you're following me or tuning in to what we got going on, things got a little sideways at this past Tuesday's meeting, the 5th of May. I was watching live at home. I got rushed home from work to tune in. I wanted to see the library conversations. They were going to be discussing the organization, the forming of the Jackson County Library Board. And so I was tuning in live, and instantly, right from the very beginning, I noticed that she was wearing like a colorful shirt, and I can't quite see what it says. Oops. Oh, well, pardon me. Pardon me. How do I move myself out of there? Here we go. So she's wearing like a red shirt that I've never seen before, and I never seen her wear. And they, normal meeting, they start off.
If you don't mind, everybody stand. We'll give the Pledge of Allegiance.
Do a little Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America. Kind of weird. I don't know that we necessarily need to start off each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, but I noticed that she was wearing a shirt with some screen print stuff on it, and it just kind of
honoring older Americans.
It kind of just caught my eye, and I was curious. This is actually the second time that this has come up. The first time I didn't put any message out, but Michael Jennings right over here back in February was wearing another shirt that was similar, but it was very worn down. I grabbed a screenshot and I meant to inquire with y'all to see what it was, and I just never got around to it. But this shirt caught my eye. I couldn't quite make out exactly what it says, and I thought it says "This is the King" or "This King." And I know that like we've recently had No Kings rallies. I was just very curious, like what that shirt could say. And so let me see if I can give you a better shot of it right from the website here. I wanted to see what it said. And so I put in I just threw an inquiry out on Facebook. I asked, Can anyone in attendance at tonight's meeting please tell me what her shirt says? And it looks like it says "This King" from that angle right there. Okay, you're back. I'm back. That was so weird. My computer just like completely shut down and crashed, and the live stream seemed to continue on. Let me just verify if this baby's on still. Holy cow, I've never had such technical difficulties. I literally work off of a spreadsheet like so. What is going on? I literally work off of this spreadsheet right here and click those links each individual time. I do not have a million tabs open. I do not have a million tabs open. I just need to, let me verify that this stream is actually still on. Holy cow. Chaos on Mother's Day. I think someone told me Keith Blaine was an IT guy, right? Is Keith Blaine an IT guy? Is Keith Blaine trying to hack into me? What is going on? Okay, we're still on. We are still on. I don't know what y'all saw while I was gone. My computer completely shut down and I had to turn it back on. It absolutely crashed. It absolutely crashed. I don't have a gazillion tabs open. Right now there is 4 tabs open on my screen. Good Lord. So during this past Tuesday's meeting, Jenny Lynn Hooper showed up wearing this red shirt that I had never seen before. Black Rabbit Collective is experiencing technical difficulties this Mother's Day. We got hacked by Keith Blaine, everybody. She showed up wearing this red shirt. I didn't recognize it. I thought I could see the word king on it. Now she has like a blue badge of some sort over much of the wording, and so I couldn't quite tell exactly what it was saying. But I made this post. Can anyone in attendance at tonight's meeting please tell me what her shirt says? And y'all responded. I got so many messages from people that were in the room, from people that were doing Google reverse image deals. I got messages from people that work at Lowe's that saw her in Lowe's wearing that exact same shirt. I got people that work at other businesses in town that have seen her wearing that shirt. It became very clear what shirt it was that she was wearing. And it was this Charlie Point Turning Point shirt. Whoops. This Turning Point shirt. This is the Turning Point with Charlie Kirk's signature on it, which I thought was kind of like a little strange. That's definitely like intentional, but I didn't like necessarily put a whole lot of thought into it in that moment. However, when I woke up the next day and began doing a little bit of research, it became very clear that because I'm not familiar with I pay attention to the local governments. I don't pay attention to a whole lot of other stuff. But it became very clear what this message was. Now we've been pushing her, we've been pressing her a little bit in regards to her behavior. You know, we've been having some laughs with her and stuff. So I don't know if this was intentional or not, or did she just pull the shirt out and throw it on and show up? Now I will say that from folks in the meeting, people who were in attendance that night, it was brought to my attention that prior to the meeting getting started, just before that Pledge of Allegiance, just prior to the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm going to try to find the folks. Let's see if you can see the crowd. She turned to somebody in the crowd. 2 eyewitnesses came forward this week and told me that just prior to the meeting, right before it started, she turned and looked at these 2 individuals on the left-hand side of the screen, the woman in the floral shirt and the man in the gray striped shirt. She turned and looked at those 2, made eye contact with those 2, and stated something along the lines that I probably shouldn't be wearing this shirt. Those words were stated by her, witnessed by individuals, members of the community that day, directed at these 2 individuals on the left-hand side of the screen. So she stated that she knew she shouldn't be wearing the shirt, and she did it anyway. So that got me thinking when I put the inquiry out there and I asked, what is this shirt? What does the shirt say? And y'all responded. And then one of the responses was, and so we very quickly knew what it was. However, one of the responses was, she stated to those 2 individuals that she knew she shouldn't be wearing that shirt. I probably shouldn't be wearing this shirt. So I started doing a little bit of digging, and I discovered, because, I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm learning with you guys, right? I know how to use a computer and read. And so that immediately got me thinking, well, if she knew she shouldn't be doing that, is it legal for her to wear that shirt? And I did some digging and come to find out that there is a North Carolina statute that pretty clearly states no county equipment or funds can be used for partisan purposes. Now, the words on her shirt say, "This is the turning point," right? So the words on her shirt say, "This is the turning point." North Carolina statute states that no county commissioner can use county equipment, county funds, even the streaming service to promote a partisan agenda. So I, after doing some reading, I determined that the best course of action would be to file a formal grievance on Jenny Lynn Hooper for wearing that shirt to the meeting after she already stated that she knew she shouldn't be wearing the shirt. So I had to do a little bit of research on how to do that. I had to contact a notary to have the notary come in and sign it. So this grievance that I created the morning after the event is posted on our website as well, blackrabbitcollective.org. At the very top, it says formal grievance. And if you click on the little icon there, it pops out and you can get like a full-size screen of it. Boom, there you go. And we're going to kind of go through it and read what this shit's all about, because it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. So I typed up the grievance. I contacted a notary. We met up Thursday morning. The meeting was this past Tuesday. We drafted the ordinance we drafted the grievance on Wednesday. On Thursday, I met a notary in a dim lit parking lot. It's like a shady drug deal. Me and the notary linked up and got that baby signed. And then I personally delivered it to the county attorney and Kevin King, the county manager's office. They scanned it in onto the record. They got it to the attorney. They got it to Mr. King. They got it to Mr. King's assistant. And I thought she said it's going like on the thing for the next meeting. I think they're going to be addressing it at the next meeting. So let's dig into the grievance just a little bit. I'm going to read you the whole thing. It's not very long. It's short. To the office of the county attorney and clerk to the board of commissioners. Now, when I walked into the clerk of the board's office, Mr. Kevin King, the county manager, was standing right next to her desk, kind of leaning on it. And he was on the phone. He had the phone up to his ear. And as I approached and started talking to her, he walked away down the hallway, never to return. But the formal grievance regarding violation of North Carolina General Statute 153A-99. I'm filing this formal grievance regarding the conduct of Commissioner Jenny Lynn Hooper during the regular public meeting of the Jackson County Board of Commissioners held May 5th. During the official proceeding, Commissioner Hooper was seated at the public dais, acting in her official capacity as an elected representative. She was wearing a shirt that featured the branding of Turning Point USA and the signature of its founder, Charlie Kirk. This meeting was conducted within Jackson County Justice Center, supported by county-funded staff and broadcast via official county live streaming equipment to the public. The violation itself, under North Carolina General Statute 153A-99, it is strictly mandated that no employee or official may use county funds, supplies, or equipment for partisan purposes or for the purpose of aiding the election or nomination of any person to public office. By utilizing the county's official meeting platform, facility, and broadcast technology to display advocacy branding for a partisan organization, the commissioner has effectively used public resources for partisan purposes. The organization featured on the apparel, Turning Point, has formally endorsed and funded Michael Whatley, a candidate who will appear on the Jackson County ballot for the U.S. Senate in the upcoming November 2026 election. Displaying this branding during an active election cycle constitutes a direct use of public resources to aid a partisan nomination and election in violation of North Carolina General Statute 153A-99. The Jackson County Board of Commissioners has an inherent duty to maintain the neutrality of the public forums. The display of partisan advocacy apparel during a business session undermines the public's trust in the board's impartiality and creates a perception of bias in the execution of county business. I respectfully request the county attorney and the board initiate a formal review of the incident under the board's established rules of procedures and issues a formal censure or public statement clarifying the partisan advocacy apparel is prohibited during official county business. I guess I'm asking for an apology, and we won't do that again. Final page, notarized by none other, the kid, John Herrera. Met me in a shady, dim-lit parking lot. And I mean, they could, there's a part of this, like a part of me was like, I'll just, let it go. I'll just let it go. And it wasn't really until I found out that Turning Point had endorsed Michael Whatley. And I realized Michael Whatley is running for North Carolina Senate against Roy Cooper, a race that will be on every ballot for every constituent of Jackson County, right? There's the page right there. Turning Point. And this is Turning Point Action. And so like that's their PAC. That's their political organization. Here's a list of their 2026 federal endorsements. And you don't have to scroll far to see Michael Whatley, candidate for U.S. Senate in North Carolina. Right up here at the top, there's a little shop button. You click that shop button. Guess what you can buy there? Shirts. I'm hot and Republican. Freedom on tap. But there they are right there, right? So literally one click away. Michael Whatley, click the shop link. Takes you to the shirts page. I think it's safe to say, because I thought that they may argue that, it's just a thing for Charlie Kirk, which is fine. Wear it anywhere that you want, except for on the clock. Wear it anywhere you want, except for on the clock. But I thought they were going to argue that this is not a partisan thing, yada, yada, yada. It's just for Charlie. However, I don't think that there's any arguing if Turning Point is both. They've had Michael Watley has participated in Turning Point events recently. They have had him on stage. They have done events in the state of North Carolina during this election cycle. They are clearly a partisan organization. There's no getting around it. There is no argument. So I don't know what's going to come from this. I would like for Jenny Lynn Hooper to have to publicly apologize for her unethical and, quite frankly, disrespectful behavior. I don't want her to do it again. I don't know how much more of this we can take. And actually, as a matter of fact, like right now, before we even just go any further, like we don't have to keep living like this, y'all. We do not have to keep living like this. Now is a great time to donate to the campaigns of Casey Wallowinder and Marsha Allman. Maybe Sean Bridgers, get your website up and I'll get it up here. Get your website up. But Casey Wallowinder and Marsha Allman are fundraising right now. And if you don't want to live like this, I would highly encourage you to throw them some dollars. David Rogers. Y'all know David Rogers. David Rogers is the Republican candidate for the Jackson County Commissioner's chair, and he's running against Marsha Allman. David Rogers has had his billboards up this entire time, since before the primary. David Rogers has 2 of his billboards still up flashing right now, westbound on Main Street, right at the Asheville Highway crossroads, and eastbound on Main Street at the Cope Creek intersection up above Hardee's. 2 of the most trafficked intersections, the only 2 traffic lights that get backed up in town. And you got to sit there and look at David Rogers' mugshot. Please donate to Casey and Marsha. You do not have to live like this. This pattern, I cannot emphasize this enough. If you think things are tough right now, if David Rogers wins and Jenny stays in there and John Smith stays in there, it's going to get worse, y'all. They're going to go after us more. It will get worse. I cannot emphasize this a month. So if you could just throw a couple dollars Casey and Marsha's way to try to combat this just a little bit. David Rogers cannot win in November. Like everyone said this about Trump too, the second go around for Trump. And then here we are. I'm saying it right now. David Rogers cannot win. David Rogers cannot win in November. We are fucking toast if David Rogers wins. So yeah, I just wanted to like get that out of the way. Jenny Lynn Hooper, she knows better. She admitted prior to the meeting started that she should not be wearing that shirt. Turning Point endorsed Michael Watley. She is wearing partisan merchandise, promoting partisan merchandise during the county commissioners meeting. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. Now, if you want to know the type of person that Jenny Lynn Hooper is, and why it's so important to stop, let's roll the tape back to last October. She has so much to say about all of this stuff, about the social services that happen in Jackson County, about the unhoused populations of Jackson County, about spending and that about Jackson County. Corey Valancourt, back in October, shout out Corey, began covering Jenny Lynn Hooper's participation in her board of commissioners seats that she holds. She sits on 3 boards for the county outside of the commissioners board as a part of her duty. Yeah, and let's just like real quick, let me backtrack real quick. Marsha has an excellent point. School children are required to turn their shirts inside out if they were to wear something that was, offensive or out of pocket, And so I do just want to point out that, let's get back to the photo. I do just want to point out that, where is she? I do just want to point out that she is wearing a zip up hoodie on the front of her jacket. She turned and stated to those two individuals, I should not be wearing this shirt. She knew that she should not be wearing that shirt. And all she had to do is zip it up. All she had to do is zip it up if she knew that she wasn't supposed to be wearing it. So the very next day, the Black Rabbit Collective decided to launch our own line of shirts. Pardon me. And we launched This is the Breaking Point, with the library books and Jenny Lynn Hooper's signature on it. Merchandise available directly on our website. All proceeds go to the campaigns of Marsha and Casey Wallowinder. If I'm legally allowed to do that, I have not researched that. But any money that's raised will hopefully get donated to them if that's legal. All right. So yes, all she had to do is zip it. So we launched This is the Breaking Point shirt. However, in the coming days, I think that we're going to, because she chose not to zip up the hoodie, we're coming out with Zip It Jenny. Bumper stickers, shirts, decals, you name it. Zip It Jenny is going to be the next one that we're running with. So we are not letting off the gas on this one, because she's just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And quite frankly, we don't have to take this. We do not have to take this. So yeah, zip it. Look for get your This is the Breaking Point shirt now, but be on the lookout for the Zip It Jenny bumper stickers coming soon. Oh my God. Speaking of bumper stickers. Yeah. Whew. So, just to show you the type of person that she is, she has a lot to say about everything that's happening around town, but she doesn't want to do anything. She doesn't want to participate. She doesn't want to help. Back in October, Corey Valancourt reported October 22nd, Jackson Commissioner skips key board meetings. So Jenny Lynn Hooper has been appointed to the Tourism and Development Board, the Transit Board, and the Mountain Projects Board, which is really important when you look at who she was talking to last month when she was dealing with Paul and Chris Weatherford from here in Jackson County. Chris Weatherford is also on the board at Mountain Projects. Mountain Projects is one of the largest social services organizations in Western North Carolina. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marsha, but I'm pretty sure they are the largest social services organization in Western North Carolina. And she sits on the board of directors at Mountain Projects. And she approached Chris Weatherford and Paul Phillips of here in Jackson County with a whole lot of rhetoric. And I heard this and I heard that. How we quickly forget from last October that Corey Valancourt reported records from those three boards show Jenny Lynn Hooper missed at least 13 out of 16 meetings on those other boards. The Tourism and Development Board, the Transit Board, and the Mountain Projects Board. She literally grilled Paul Phillips from here in Jackson County for like 30 minutes straight when she sits on the board at Mountain Projects. It's fucking insane. It is fucking insane. And come to find out that, so Corey, the interesting part, Corey wrote that article on October 22nd of last year. And literally a month later, 1 month later, Bear with me. I think it's fucking shit. My computer. 1 month later, I'm having trouble with the Smoky Mountain News website right now. 1 month later. Tuesday, November 18th. Last month, an investigation by the Smoky Mountain News revealed that Jackson County Commissioner Jenny Lynn Hooper had missed at least 13 of 16 meetings. On advisory boards she volunteered to serve on after her 2024 election. Since then, new information has come to light showing she's now missed at least 14 out of 17 meetings. Corey reported in October that she missed 13 out of 16 meetings. It was very publicly shared. And what does she do in the preceding month? She misses another meeting. She didn't even go to the next meeting after Corey called her out for not going to 13 meetings in her first year or whatever. She didn't go to the meeting, right? So like, how can she point the finger? And what's up with that picture, doggy? She's either Silva Snoop. She's either stoned out of her mind or White Claws deep. Look at those eyes, dude. Look at those eyes, cousin. 13 out of 16 meetings. She was called out publicly and then didn't go to the next meeting. Like, I don't understand. She does not give a fuck. Well, come to find out, due to Corey's investigation, Jackson County attorney finds that Jenny Lynn Hooper violated the tourism and development attendance policy, right? They have an attendance policy that states you must attend, I believe it's 50% of the meetings. And the attorney found that she violated that policy. Do y'all notice a pattern with this woman? I mean, this started right out of the gate. She got elected and she went to one meeting and then didn't go to any more. Did not go to any more. Now, fun fact that back in, it's tough for y'all to read maybe, but back in 2024, just before her election, this is from the Smoky Mountain News. This is from the Smoky Mountain News Meet the Candidates section. She gives a little bit of history on herself. And then she'd say, I would like to cut wasteful spending and have accountability for projects that are unfinished. If a project is allotted money, blah, blah, blah. She wants to see projects finished throughout. I will fight to keep local property taxes low and to keep the growth of the county budget within reasonable limits. Meanwhile, she just ran out and voted to leave the library, costing the taxpayers millions of dollars. However, she also essentially she's gone and done nothing of what she said she was going to do leading up to the election, right? Leading up to the election. So she has, her attendance is complete disregard for participating. She wants to talk and point the fingers at all these different individuals in our community, but she doesn't actually participate in the solution. She has no participation in the solution. So please, yes, don't donate to Casey and Marsha. We have to rally together to get Casey and Marsha in there. I can't take it. You know, she clearly violated North Carolina statute last Tuesday night at the meeting. What are they going to do? Where's the accountability? I have no idea. I can't tell. And then to tie it in, I did want to get into a little bit of, because Jenny, in the meeting in between on the April 21st meeting. So we did here in Jackson County on the 7th, 2 weeks later on April 21st, the America 250 committee came in and gave a update to the county commissioners on what the America 250 folks have been up to. So I did want to play just a little bit of that, because there's two things in there that are important to me. The first is her just throwing shade at the town board, which we'll get into. Let's see. Go America, baby. Oh, yeah. There's your girl, Silva Snoop. There's your girl.
Since the big festivities of the centennial, but it's been 75. A whole list of people.
I do.
Close
I just,
family.
yeah.
But if you know of anybody in your community, Cashers to Koala.
So they got these kids, Beth James, the one and only Beth James. So we're going to launch it like right there.
It's always good to start out with the kids because they are cute, right? So
they started off, they played a video of the children doing a reenactment of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That's the first thing they did before Beth James approached the podium to share the update regarding the America 250 committee. We're going to play that video, the children's video, because they've blasted it all over social media. They played it during this county commissioners meeting. They very clearly want the constituents of Jackson County to see these efforts. So we're going to play that video. And I have an award to give out to one of the students. Hang tight while we get into some of Beth James's nonsense.
the committee has been meeting. A lot of that is what we're looking for, a lot of community participation, a lot of going around. Bill Davis is so good about recording everybody.
Shout out Bill Davis. Bill Davis.
And so
The county's word police, Mr. Bill Davis.
he's super excited. He takes his phone everywhere.
Let's give Bill a hand.
Yes, very much. Yeah, so he will be having lots of videos on.
Bill Davis is taking his phone everywhere. When you watch this video, it's very clear that Bill Davis shot it with his phone.
Social media.
Bill Davis is the one that has decided that he is the one that gets to decide the levels of moderation on all Jackson County public forums. He's the one that deletes comments. He's the one that shut down all comments on all posts for anything Jackson County government related. You can no longer leave a comment on any Jackson County government page, thanks to Bill Davis. Listen to them praise him.
Media of, just local everyday people wishing America a happy birthday. Captures historical.
Come talk to me, Bill Davis. Well, I'm a regular local person. I will be happy to cut a little video for you, doggy. We could do it right here, baby. Me and you together.
Society has a lot going on. They actually have 2 moving exhibits going. When we're us and making our voices heard is going on through Cashers Historical Society. One of my favorite things that we're doing is on May 23rd, we're having a flag retirement ceremony at the Tuckasegee BFW. We're able, thanks to donors, to up to 250 flags. If you turn your flag in, then we're going to give you a flag to take home with you.
They got a $10,000 grant from the state of North Carolina. The state of North Carolina actually gave a $10,000 grant to every county in the state and tasked them with forming a committee and hosting these America 250 events.
so that you'll have that through the year for the 250th celebration. We'll probably start advertisement on that next week, as all of the volunteers.
Pretty sweet thing. I mean, you got a worn flag at your house. You can take it down there, exchange it for a brand new one. So you got a nice, pretty flag flying on the 4th of July.
And our donors get their stuff in. I do need a location in Cashers. I'm missing that, a good location for people to turn their flags into. I've not had a lot of luck there, but we're still working on that. We're calling the Boy Scouts in to fold those flags because they're not burnt until they're folded. And right now, even before we announced this, Tuckasegee VFW had a huge amount of flags, that were worn that need to be disposed. I do, while I have your attention, speaking of Tuckasegee VFW, I want to brag on them a little bit. They don't get the attention that they deserve.
Happy Mother's Day, Beth James. Call me, baby.
Only the top 25 divisional VFW posts out of over 6,000 in the U.S. and abroad receive the distinction of the All-American Award. And our Tuckasegee VFW, Mike Martin Post, has won it twice.
Wow.
And they have done that through not just their leadership and their membership, but by community service, not just to our veterans, but to our children, to our elderly, shut-ins. They've won that twice, and that's a huge deal. So I'm asking on May 23rd, if you can come out and support them, that would be great. The doors are going to open at 9:30. The ceremony will start at 10:30. The next thing we're really excited about is a parade for the veterans.
So like they got $10,000 from the state to host these America 250 events. They're doing the flag thing and the flag exchange. And that was all the new flags were donated by the VFW. And other donors. They didn't purchase the flags. I actually did after this meeting. I don't have it on my screen. After this meeting, I did a public records request with I'll pull it up on my phone and just read it to you. But I did a public records request to see what they were spending the $10,000 on. And I'll tell you a little bit about that here shortly as we get into the Jackson County GOP finances segment. But I did send in a public records request asking them to for the expenditures on that $10,000 grant. If you spend any money out of the $10,000, what have you spent it on? And the reply back that I got from Miss Darlene Fox, which I think that might be her sitting right there. Darlene said on April 27th, the meeting that you're watching right now was on April 21st. On April 27th, Darlene said, at this point, no funds have been expended from the America 250 grant. Now that holiday is coming up soon. 4th of July is, roughly 60 days away. I just got done listening to Beth James explain all these events that they're going to be doing around town, but they haven't spent any money yet, according to Darlene Fox.
That's going to be on July 4th. We're going to have that at 10 o'clock in the morning.
July 4th, 10 a.m. Their big idea is to have a veterans parade on the 4th of July. A parade to remember veterans. And we're going to do it on the 4th of July. Does that make sense? Is there a Veterans Day in November?
In Dillsboro, we're just going to run it on Front Street. We have
Dillsboro Front Street. I got some ideas for this event too. I have some serious ideas, Marshall. We need to talk about this because I'm all about celebrating.
A committee. I sent out a survey today to get a meeting going to get them involved. One of the main things that both the the Legion and the VFW has said is that for those families who have lost a veteran, they would like for those families to be able to walk as well.
So the Silva Town Board is still not on board with this?
So you got that? Did you hear that little chime in? Let's run that back real quick.
So the Silva Town Board is still not on board with this?
They're hosting the parade in Dillsboro. And Jenny suspects, look, she's wearing the same sweater right there. She is wearing the same sweater right there. Let's do this real quick. It's the same sweater, right? Same sweater.
In case you guys were to ask me that tonight, I actually do have the email where we were denied earlier in the year
Oh, Jenny, calm down, sister.
for that. I talked to DOT today. Our permit is moving along for the town. There's been a little bit of confusion if we had to have one or not because it is on Front Street. So that's going to be the street in Dillsboro that is where the train tracks are. And so we're just running it down that road at 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's prior to any
Nobody's even going to know that that's happening.
of the restaurants or the shops opening. We're going to start at the top, like where Riverwood craft shops are, and the parade will come down and go to the end of the street where R&R is, and we have that field now where the house is. And there they'll be, we'll have it set up with refreshments for the veterans and things. They've been asking for a parade for many years. It's been it's overdue that, you know,
need it, and
they need
especially
it.
For the 250 club.
Yeah, they deserve
So
it.
just for the people that are watching this or that watch it later,
For the people that are watching it, that'd be me, Jenny. What's up? She's trying to throw shade at the Silva Town Board. She's trying to throw shade at the town of Silva. Oh, how short her memory is. How short Jenny's memory is.
is this something that's voted on by the town board of Silva? Whether to do this or not?
So, according to the email actually came, we got it back on February the 3rd. And it actually came from Robbie Carter, who is Assistant Chief of Police. And if you guys want, I can forward that email to you.
So the police determined or the?
He approached, according to the email, says after reviewing your application, we must formally deny your permit request. It says our decision is based on several factors, including town policy, public safety, and impact on our local economy. I'll forward that email to you guys so that you.
Street closure policy for parades was changed under a conservative majority board. That is very true. That is very true.
Can take a look at.
It's the same. So you notice this pattern. Like she thinks that she's being a bulldog. She thinks she's bulldogging, but she's really just an overreach of her power. She really has no understanding.
You would think that would draw people in.
You would think it is the 4th of July on the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The 4th of July, I think it falls on a Saturday. They don't need help bringing people in downtown Silva. There will be enough folks down there. There'll be enough folks down there for me to complain about.
We're in Jackson County, if you can't go through the front door, you go through the back. And so we were going to have one, whether, sometimes you have to ask forgiveness instead of permission.
Huh?
Whether, Jackson County, if you can't go,
in Jackson County, if you can't go through the front door, you go through the back.
In Jackson County, if you can't go through the front door, you go through the back. And so we were going to have one, whether, sometimes you have to ask forgiveness instead of permission. I know one year I drove them through town and nobody knew the difference, right? But they've asked for a parade, so we were determined to give that to them. Yeah, they do deserve it. We're working with the Department of Aging. We're also,
She admitted on the public record that she is willfully prepared to break the law. Whether it's in the front door or the back door, Silva Snoop. She is prepared.
sometimes you have to ask forgiveness instead of permission. I know one year I drove them through town and nobody knew the difference, right? But they've asked for a parade, so we were determined to give that to them. Yeah, they do deserve it.
1 year, Beth James drove him through town and no one even knew. What does that mean?
We're working with the Department of Aging. We're also, I work with the Jackson County Genealogical Society, and I'm really happy to report that this will be the first time ever we're going to have a children's summer program.
Yeah.
And it's going to be,
That sounds scary. The summer program that's related to this America 250. That's crazy. So yeah, I'd send in a public records request because I was under suspicion. I suspected that they might be up to something with their spending and their flags and stuff like that, because I had been poking around on the Jackson County GOP's website after talking to Kitty Bradley about campaign finances and things like that. And I discovered back in 2024, the Jackson County GOP spent almost $5,000 in one quarter, July to September. They spent almost $5,000 on MAGA merchandise off of the website Temu. Okay. So I was just connecting the dots, and I'm like, oh, if they're spending $5,000 on Temu and Beth James is a part of that group, I wonder if the Jackson County GOP bought them American flags off of Temu. And it doesn't sound like they did. It seems like the donors. She said thanks to donors. And so I'm thinking it sounded like the VFW was a large contributor. But if you remember when we had Kitty Bradley on and we were discussing the Jackson County GOP financials and the penalty that they had paid for the mismanagement or misreporting of merchandise sales, it was this exact same time period. So all the merchandise sales that were misreported, that the Jackson County GOP ultimately had to pay a $1,500 fine. All of that merchandise, they had like record sales. It wasn't real clear. It was anywhere between like $20,000 and like $32,000 in merchandise sales. And they paid like $5,000 for it, $4,700 on 28 transactions off of Temu. And you could see the stuff right here on their website. They have their information posted right on their website. What in the world? I suspected that they might be buying the stuff off of Temu, and it doesn't seem like they are, but let's get back to, man, what is up? Do they bear with me for just a second? Hey, somebody double check this real quick. Somebody double check this. Y'all see what I'm seeing? Their website's gone, dude. Their website's gone. Somebody find me the Jackson GOP website. I went to their Facebook page and it's jcgop.org right there. Dead, son. Somebody buy that. Should I buy it right now? Should I buy that website and put a bunch of my stuff on it? Let's get this motherfucker. Oh, we're getting it. $100. through a broker service. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but their website's gone. I don't know what's up there. What's up with their website? They had pictures of all the Trump hats on the website. All the stuff that they got off of Temu, all the Trump hats, all the shirts, and they had pictures of them. But if you look at this, the real interesting thing is all these Temu transactions, they started immediately. I'm talking about within days. They started immediately around the first Butler, PA Trump assassination. As soon as the assassination happened, they started buying all of this merchandise. So what we can do real quick before, oh shit. Let me see if I can find their financials. They might have bought a new domain. They could have purchased a new domain. Do I want to go off the rails or do I want to stay on track? Because we do got to play the children's video from the beginning of the America 250 because I got awards to give. I got money to give away. Cash, cold hard cash, baby. Yeah, I might do that later. Let me see. Because I'll actually show you how I look at all their campaign funding. Here we go. Could that be the software line item? It could be the software line item. Come on. All right, let's see what we can find. Because I think I did see something on their line items, but that website was live just like a few days ago. I looked at those shirts just a few days ago. All right, here we go. I'm going to show y'all. So we go to the North Carolina State Board of Elections page there. And we're going to look at expenditures. And we're going to do a committee search. And you type in Jackson Rec, REC. And there's two. There's the Jackson County GOP and there's the Jackson County GOP Legal Defense Fund. But let's go to the rec. Whoops. What's going on? Oh, y'all can't see that pop up. All right, there it goes. Jackson Rec, we can search it. It's all they're spending right here. I can export this. This is how I got the Temu stuff. You can actually do like searches. So I just searched Temu. I'm sure there's other spending that I'm not aware of. Oh, Lord. Let's go back. Expenditures, Jackson Rec. I think they might have got a new website. Let's do 1/1/26 to 3/3/26. Or let's go to now, 05. I don't think they've had any reports done since April, though. I'm almost positive they got a new website up there. Blue Ridge Gas, Thomas Silva. No, there ain't shit on there. The other thing is they spend like $2,000 a quarter on text blast right here. Look, there's $535. on that one, and the service is called Rumble Up. You see that? Rumble Up is like a text blast service that they continue to do. And there's your good friend Joan Stearns there, Silva Snoop, with their $1,500 rent check. All right, sorry for getting derailed. The Jackson County GOP website is down, so I can't show you the shirts, but they spent almost $5,000. You got to understand, it is after the Butler, PA assassination attempt and before the presidential election that took place in November. They were on this America First platform. Trump was running on American manufacturing and all this stuff, and they spent $5,000 on a Chinese cheap ass merch. Is insane. Is absolutely insane. If anybody catches wind of a new Jackson GOP website, send that baby over to me, because I am interested in poking around. They're updating their website. They are updating their website. So we're done with Beth James. She's up to stuff. I got ideas for the America 250 parade. Y'all want to talk about the 250 parade real quick? I'm looking for somebody. I'll just say it publicly right now. I'm looking for somebody to dress me up as Jenny Lynn Hooper. I need to get a Drewski gimmick for me as Jenny Lynn Hooper, and I'm going to the parade as Jenny Lynn Hooper. I am going to the parade as Jenny Lynn Hooper. The America 250 parade. So let's roll this back to the children. All right. All right, let's go, y'all. So I think they're getting ready to play the kids video. This is the America 250 video. They got the kids from one of the Christian schools to cut this video. A lot of their videos, you'll notice, a lot of their videos came out of one school.
Now to new business. First up this evening, we have America 250 update with Miss Beth James and Mr. Michael Moore presenting.
Hi, good evening. I'm Beth James. This is Michael Moore. To start, we would like to show a video.
Let's watch this video, y'all. This is your boy Billy. This is a Billy production. What's that guy's name? Silva Snoop, Billy something. Heritage Christian Academy. All these videos are made at Heritage Christian Academy. And this is a Billy Bob production.
It's a presentation of Heritage Christian Academy doing through the Colonial News Network about the signing
The Colonial News Network.
of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th.
So they're doing a recreation of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So Bill Davis production.
1776.
Look at the quality of this work. Bill Davis. This is a Bill Davis. His hand was shaking when he was holding that phone.
Good evening. This is Colonial News Network, bringing you breaking news from Philadelphia. Today is July 4th, 1776, and something historic is happening. The colonies are deciding whether to become independent from Great Britain. Let's go live to our reporter
This is a Bill Davis production, everybody. America 250.
outside Independence Hall.
Thank you.
That
I am
camera
standing
can't
outside
even
Independence
cut.
Hall, where the delegates from the 13 colonies have gathered. They are preparing to sign the document called
All right, y'all. John Adams. John Adams is my dog.
the Declaration of Independence. This document says the colonies want to be free from British rule. I have with me Thomas Jefferson, the man who helped write the document.
Thank you.
John Adams,
We wrote
baby.
this declaration to explain why the colonies want freedom. We believe all people are created equal and have the rights like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That is powerful. I also have John Adams.
All right, John Adams, everybody. This is a Bill Davis production. John Adams is my dog. Let's roll that back. I want you to see. Watch John Adams. Watch John Adams right here, dude.
Standing outside Independence Hall, where the delegates
Watch him. Watch John Adams.
from the 13 colonies have gathered. They are preparing to sign a document called the Declaration of Independence. This document says the colonies want to be free from British rule. I have with me
Look at that face, dude. John Adams knows that this is nonsense. John Adams knows how cheesy this is. John Adams can't believe all these adults are making him do this. Look at that young man's face. Watch John Adams.
Thomas Jefferson, the man who helped write the document.
Thank you. We wrote this declaration to explain
John Adams wants nothing to do with this Bill Davis production.
why the colonies want freedom. We believe all people
Shaking his head. John Adams knows how cheesy this is.
were created equal and have the rights like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Now, shout out to that little guy, too. He memorized his line. So here he comes, John Adams.
That is powerful. I also have
Watch
John
his face.
Adams,
Watch his face.
one of the leaders supporting independence. Mr. Adams, why
Little smirk, little laugh. He's also the best reader out of this bunch. Watch this man read.
is this so important?
For many years, the colonies have felt that King George III treated them unfairly. We had taxes, but no representation in government. Today, we are standing up and saying we want to govern ourselves.
Exciting times.
Watch
Let's
'em.
hear from some of the colonists watching.
Bro, John Adams gets it. That kid gets it. That kid's going somewhere. That's going to be the most successful kid out of this group. That child is going somewhere because his BS detectors are railing off. They are going off so loud in his head. He cannot believe the nonsense that these adults are making them do.
In a historic moment.
All right, that's a wrap. That's all I got for that. I just got to say, let's get a good shot of him. If anybody knows the parents of this kid right here, John Adams, if you know the parents of John Adams, get a hold of them, let them know. The Black Rabbit Collective has a $100 video game gift card of your choice. PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, whatever you want, John Adams. I got a $100 gift card to give to your parents for you, dude. I'm not trying to meet this kid. I'm not trying to talk to this kid. I just want to give his parents a $100 gift card for this stellar performance. He absolutely crushed it in this video right here. He knows it's nonsense. That kid is going to be successful. I love that kid, dude. Keep going, John Adams. I love that guy. All right, yeah, that was it. That was the only take I want. Somebody get a hold of John Adams' parents and let him know. I know there's a bunch of school board people recently started following me, and so please don't forget to try to track them down. Somebody knows that kid. I know somebody knows that kid. Yeah. Jenny. So yeah, that's the extent of my commissioner stuff. I suppose that we could go into a little bit, because I don't want to get it too far away. I suppose that we could get a little bit into the Jackson County Early College is going through it right now. Some things are happening, and I just have a little bit of concerns. Things got heated during the last Jackson County School Board meeting, and I want to play a couple clips from there, play a couple of the news stories, and kind of like go over it. Essentially, what's happening is Jackson County School Board wants the Jackson County Early College, which is located over at SCC. They want them to start their own sports athletics over at the early college. And the way it stands right now is that if you are a student at the Jackson County Early College, you are allowed to participate in Smoky Mountain High School athletics. To me, that just makes perfect sense. I don't see any reason why things should be different. However, the county commissioners or the Jackson County School Board has proposed the idea to separate the two, and for Jackson County Early College to do their own athletics which there's no fields up there. There's no staff. There's no coaching. And they want Smoky Mountain to do their own athletics and not allow them to commingle. So like essentially, like if you want to participate in competitive sports as a high schooler, you're going to have to choose between going to the early college and getting that free degree early and playing in some real cheesy sports if they are available, or staying at Smoky Mountain and not getting that college degree. If they do start sports at the Jackson County Early College, it is up to like the student body and administration to like form the team. So like if there's 2 basketball players and you don't have enough to field a team, then you can't start a team. And then they can't go back to Smoky Mountain and participate in high school sports at Smoky Mountain. They have to form a team at the early college. Does not sound fair. It does not sound fair at all. The reason why that they're trying to do that is because the Smoky Mountain football team, due to the population, due to the amount of students. So essentially the way it works is like all of those early college students get counted as student on paper, get counted as students for Smoky Mountain High School, which makes it look like we have a larger student body than we actually have on the campus at Smoky Mountain High School. So what that does is that pushes us up to class 5A from 4A. And it seems like it's really only going to affect the coaching staff of football, where football will be able to stay down in 4A and not have to play a more competitive class 5A group. You know, sounds a little sketch to me. Definitely doesn't sound fair to the kids that support it. In our little county, resources are so limited right now as far as coaches willing to participate, as far as funding. I mean, you're going to have to buy like jerseys and all the equipment. And I mean, this is a massive, massive cost to the county if they do decide to split. And the argument is our kids are playing against tougher competition. And to me, if I'm a coach, I'm an athlete, y'all. I am an athlete. I played high school basketball. I want to play against the best. I want to play against tougher competition. I want to develop my team. I want that challenge. I know that they got 2 Major League Baseball players right now out of Smoky Mountain High School. A wrestler won Class 5A state this year. Track and field wins quite often. Like, we have good athletics over there. It's just the coaching staff of Smoky Mountain football appear to think that they can't remain competitive or participate in Class 5A. So they held a school board meeting last week. It was very well attended. Watching the school board meeting reminded me of the library saga that we went through last year. The room was pretty full of folks that, in my opinion, don't want them to separate the sports. We're going to play a clip from the Smoky Mountain athletic director, Tom Young. He went up there first and spoke. So we're going to run just a real little clip from there.
I just wanted to bring up the high school, North Carolina High School Association. They create and determine classifications for a reason. And the reason that they do this is one of their core values, which is fair competition. So when you look at fair competition, you want athletes that are they're on a comparable level. And so when we look at Smoky Mountain High,
this dude definitely just watching this, the lighting's poor. Notice the difference in the audio. Why does the Jackson County School Board have better audio video equipment than the Jackson County commissioners do? I can actually hear Tom Young. I can actually hear him clearly. Definitely feels like he's trying to sell me something.
high school, and the combination of JCEC together, it puts us in a 5A classification. Well, I can tell you that based on our numbers, which are at the bottom 10 of 5A, we then have to compete against the top level of 5A, which is close to 1,200 students. And when you look at that number of athletes then that are able to participate at a school, it puts us at a competitive disadvantage. And so when you're looking at it, you can't look
competitive disadvantage. I don't know. Like, look at the faces in the room. Like, this student right here, she is not believing his shit. This lady right here is not believing his shit. Students over here, not believing his shit. They've all heard this before too, I guarantee you.
simply at a conference, and what conference we're in. We're really looking at the ability to then play in the state playoffs. It matters. You're talking about moving teams.
Why is he even talking about the playoffs when they can't even get close to the playoffs? He's saying that it's not going to affect who we play during the regular season. It's only going to affect who you play in the playoffs.
Up and down in terms of competition level, so that we can have athletes that are able to have more opportunities at the state playoff level to advance. So an easy way to look at that is that Pisgah High School that was in our conference, right? They're 4A. Our volleyball team beat them twice at the end of the year, right? We beat them twice. We get placed in. We lose to a 5A school that is ranked similar to the level that they were in 4A. In the 4A level, Pisgah plays a number 3 seed, extremely high, right on the west side. They upset them. It wasn't because Pisgah was playing a team that was ranked extremely high. They were looking at it and saying, hey, these are people that we can compete with. 1 through 24 on that side, they were able to compete at that level. And if we were in that, which should be at a 4A level, we would be able to compete. Now, I do want to mention, when you just look at logistics of how an athletics program works, there are tons of moving pieces here.
You hear that? There's tons of moving pieces for how an athletic department works. However, he's going to try to pitch me the concept that we're going to do that at another school. Right? How can he claim both things at the same time? That's,
and I've been adamant about, I care about all student athletes. I want
doesn't sound authentic.
Everybody to have opportunities to play.
Does not sound authentic.
That's not even a question. I think that the 1A level makes a lot of sense for JCEC because I think we could have a high level of success. Twice at the end of the year, right? We beat them twice. We get placed in. We lose to a 5A school that is ranked similar to the level that they were in 4A. In the 4A level, Pisgah plays a number 3 seed, extremely high, right on the west side. They upset them. It wasn't because Pisgah was playing a team that was ranked extremely high. They were looking at it and saying, hey, these are people that we can compete with. 1 through 24 on that side, they were able to compete at that level. And if we were in that, which should be at a 4A level, we would be able to compete. Now, I do want to mention, when you just look at logistics of how an athletics program works, there are tons of moving pieces here.
How can he lead with that? There are tons of moving pieces. So hard to handle and manage all of this, but let's go ahead and try it. Let's go ahead and start over. I mean, developing talent is what high school sports is all about. Developing talent. And I don't know about dropping down for a competitive advantage is instrumental to the development of these young individuals. I played in an inner city high school basketball. We got fucking smoked every year. All my years in high school basketball, we won a handful of games. I learned so much from them ass whoopings, boy.
And I've been adamant about, I care about all student athletes. I want everybody to have opportunities to play. That's not even a question. I think that the 1A level makes a lot of sense for JCEC because I think we could have a high level of success. You look at the sports that student athletes compete in, 32 of the 39 that I have listed on our rosters are swimming, track, cross country.
Damn straight, Boys Deets got wins. Boys Deets got wins. That man knew how to develop talent. And I don't know if y'all know this, but Boys Deets is the one that came up with this Black Rabbit name. Boyce Dietz named the Black Rabbit. FYI.
Country indoor track. And so when you're looking at those levels, you're able to compete at that level pretty easily and at a pretty inexpensive cost. And we provided those to the board, those numbers. But when you look at that,
so he wants like track and field and some of those other ones to just go over to the early college and start your own 1A team. You'll win. You'll be great. You've had all these years over here at Smoky Mountain to prepare for it.
Level, I think you can jump right into competition fairly easily. And I think the thing that everybody needs to be aware of is that this isn't similar to what happened to make.
Watch the body language of everyone in the crowd. Nobody believes him.
And so it's not that next year, meaning that 26, 27, this would happen. It would be the following year, because realignment, the way this works is that every 2 years you can appeal. And so we would appeal potentially in October. And so that's how this kind of works, is that you've got an opportunity to say, hey, we'd have a year to kind of plan and look in advance of how we can make teams work. And I would be all about that. I think you can share coaches.
No, they can't.
People don't know that, but at a state level, you're able to share coaches at a competition.
Yeah, on paper, you're allowed to, but the coaches are not going to be giving the same level of commitment to the athletes that they're giving to their 4A Smoky Mountain High School. They are not going to be sharing coaches in the fashion that he is describing.
Right. And so there's an ability. What you have to do is you have to have practices at different times, but I think there's a lot of our coaches that are willing to do
practices at different times. So a coach wants to just essentially double his workload, coaching at one school and the other. Nobody's signing up for that, Tom Young.
that.
Who are you going to hire? You going to hire David Rogers to be your baseball coach?
And so I think
You're not going to have 9 players at the early college to field a team.
there's a lot of ways to share coaches.
Football players have to choose between a college degree and football, because they're not going to start a 1A football team over there. They don't have enough people.
Share spaces, allow everybody to compete. And in my opinion, you'd have more opportunities, right?
Bullshit.
You think, well, there's less opportunities. Well, if I'm at a small college, similar to another one in our county that we don't talk about a lot, Blue Ridge, you have to band together. You know your teammates, you know your classmates. You're like, hey, we really need you out here on the volleyball team. We just need to get 8 of us. You know, if you think about there's 6.
Bro, you don't want a team full of people who don't want to be out there. You need a group of people who are ready to fight with you.
To play in a court, you want 2 subs, and it'd be real easy for JCC to have their first ever volleyball team. I think the ability to have the first of at a school is pretty cool. And I think there's a lot of people in here that
The first team that got kicked out of Smoky Mountain because Tom Young wanted easier competition in the football playoffs.
either seen the first of at Smoky Mountain High School, Civil Webster, whatever it may have been, or even in terms of females playing athletics. I mean, there's a whole lot of options, but in terms of what JCEC could do and having the ability to have students be the first of something, the first state qualifier for cross country, the first state qualifier for swimming at JCEC, I think could mean a lot. And I will say, I think the branding is amazing, right? JCEC, I get the phone call every single Sunday. They're the Jaguars. And I totally love that. I think JCC Jaguars, that's important. The branding's there. Their mascots there. I think the ability to have
The resources are not there, doggy. There is no resources to start a full 1A athletics team.
your own athletics is there. And I think I think it's a great thing. And I'm willing to help however I can as an athletic director to make sure that works. There's even an ability for me to be the athletic director and help JCC get off the ground as a 1A. I think all those pieces are in place. In our own county, we have another competing school in the Little Smoky Mountains, Blue Ridge. And Blue Ridge is smaller than
Blue Ridge has struggled as long as I have been alive to even just form teams. Comparing it to Blue Ridge is not what you think it is, Tom Young. Blue Ridge has struggled.
JCEC. And I just think
He's talking like Blue Ridge has this wonderful athletics going on. And I feel for all them kids that live up there in Southern Jackson County that don't get an opportunity to participate. It already happens on the south part of the county.
you have to look at those factors and say, man, like you could have two teams in the same district competing in the same conference, which I think is also exciting in a lot of sports. So I think there's a lot of opportunities. I think there's a lot of
body
excitement that could
language.
build around it.
Everyone's
I just
uncomfortable.
wanted to mention those things because to me, it's exciting to start something new and start something fresh. And from that perspective is kind of where I've seen things. And I think on the Smoky Mountain side, I think being able to compete at a fair level is important. And I just wanted to throw this last thing out here. I can remember traveling in the fall to JCEC and talking to a student athlete who didn't want to compete at a state level. To me, I care whether kids are competing, and I want everybody to compete, but I also want them to feel a sense of pride that like, man, like we can do this together. And it should be this band of like, hey, at JCEC, we're known for cross country or whatever the sport, swimming. I mean, like we have 22 swimmers, right? JCEC has an amazing like contribution to the swim program, but I think it would be amazing to say, man, we have the best 1A swim team in the state of North Carolina. And I think that's where there's an opportunity. Thank you.
What do you think? I don't trust that cat at all, dude. That did not sound authentic. That did not feel authentic. It felt like you're trying to sell me a bag of goods, cousin. That's exactly what that felt like. So as he walks away, the football coaches are applauding. So that's athletic director Tom Young. I think I can introduce you next to my man, Travis Painter. If anybody knows Travis Painter, give him love from the Black Rabbit Collective. Tell him I'd love to talk to him.
Our next speaker is Travis Painter, and he would like to speak on early college and Smoky Mountain High School athletics.
Now you heard the response that Tom got. Let's see how people feel about Travis Painter.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to show my support in leaving the early college students in Smoky Mountain High School.
Look at this goober back here. A little mouth breather, dude. Come on, bro. He knows what's about to come down right here. Who is this guy? He knows what's about to come. Oh, mouth breathing back there.
Sports.
Look at him.
First, I want to remind each of you that you were elected into these positions solely for the best interest of every child in Jackson County. So why are we having this meeting? To force our children to choose between an education that allows them
A lot of head shakes out there in the crowd.
Associate's degree for free, in which case some may not get otherwise, or choose athletics. I was told by one of you on the board that this was not true. He said that the students at Jackson County Early College would still be able to play sports in the early college if they had their own teams. How is a school that small supposed to have enough team members to provide a team for any sport? And even if they did, I have done a little research on nearby counties that have went this route, and as I encourage each of you to do, turns out that $30,000 to $40,000 is not enough to pay for the uniforms, coaches, and referees. That doesn't include fields, gyms, tracks, pools for practice and playing on or in. Nor does this include the cost of buses, bus drivers. Recently, the women's middle school district soccer team, which my daughter is on, had to practice at the fields at Jackson County Rec Fields in Cullowhee because you just mentioned that we're not even going to have fields at the new middle school. So we're going backwards, not forwards on the.
So they got this big middle school project happening across the street from Cody Lewis's new gas station. And that project has already like way exceeded the budget to the point where they're no longer building ball fields at the middle school. Think about that for a second. They aren't building ball fields at the middle school. There's nowhere for these kids to play. Everyone wants to gripe about kids being on their phone and doing shit on the internet all day. They literally are not doing anything that supports these kids doing athletics.
Okay. And all this for what? Because some football coaches whispered in the same board member's ear that this was a good idea to take away the numbers of the early college students from the high school so that it would go from a 5A to a 4A school. Number one, note that this classification only affects football in the playoffs. But does it really matter when Smoky Mountain can't win against a 1A or 2A high school like Swain and several other high schools? As these children make choices to stay at the high school versus Jackson County Early College in order to play sports and increase in population in Jackson County, Smoky Mountain would still end up going back to 5A anyway in just a matter of time. So this is a moot point. Final thought. Make your decision for the best interest of the students of Jackson County, including the early college students, and not the coaches of Smoky Mountain football. As a matter of fact, why not just fire the existing football coaches and hire some that can produce a winning team? And one more, Mr. Jameson, you voted for the early college students to participate in Smoky Mountain sports in the 2022 and 2023 school year. Thank you for your time.
Enough.
And that's the head football coach bowing up to Travis Painter. I confirmed from people who were in the audience. He said, hey, I'm right here, man. And kind of bowed up to him. Travis gave him the good news, wasn't backing down in front of all these students. I met the guy before. I met him. I don't know if that's how you act. I don't care who's calling for your job, dude.
Mr. Jameson, you voted for the early college students to participate.
I don't know if this is the behavior of a leader.
Smoky Mountain sports in
I'm not talking about Travis Painter. I'm talking about the head football coach.
the 2022 and 2023 school year. Thank you for your time.
Enough.
What is that?
Our next speaker is Joseph Ritter.
Much louder applause. I think there's more folks on the side of Travis Painter than there are on the side of the Smoky Mountain athletic director. I think I'll just go ahead and state it right now. So they haven't decided yet. They haven't decided what's going to happen. The Jackson County early college students have spoken out to the Silver Herald and sent a letter to the Silver Herald. I'm not going to read it all to you, but I encourage you to go to the page and take a look for yourself. The students don't want this. So there's so many parallels to this and the library situation where all those folks went down to the county commissioners and showed that they didn't want to leave. They left anyways. Here we are again doing the same thing with sports. I fear that they may try to leave and separate the groups, and then either athletes aren't going to get degrees or athletes are going to have to give up their sports. And I could see like so many like family dynamics with parents where the kid wants to play sports, but they don't have a football team at the early college, and the parents want the kid to go to the early college, but he wants to play football. I don't see this being beneficial to the students, but I do want to throw this out there that if they do decide to separate sports, I would like to volunteer. I will volunteer right now to be the head basketball coach. I'll be the head baseball coach. I have not talked to John yet, but I'm John Herrera. I have not run this by him. John Herrera will be your soccer coach. Anybody that's viewing live right now, you want to raise your hand for positions, go right ahead. I will be happy to coach the Jackson County early college basketball team. I would be happy to coach that team. So we are winding down. I don't have a whole lot of other things to talk about. There's two final things that I just wanted to get off my chest. And the first is the Jackson County Recovery Rally is taking place on August 30th. We're in the early planning phases of it right now. I volunteered to be on the planning committee, and it's being put on through the health department, via the county through the health department. And we are looking for sponsors for the event. We are looking for businesses or organizations that would like to sponsor the 2026 Jackson County Recovery Rally. We are looking for somebody to sponsor t-shirts. We need about 100 t-shirts printed up. We're looking for folks that might want to come out and set something up during the event. There's going to be like live music and a bunch of different vendors set up. It's at Bridge Park on August 30th. So if you or somebody that you know would like to participate or potentially sponsor the event, please reach out to the podcast, contact myself or contact Jody over at the health department, and we will get you signed up because we are in need of folks to support this message. So it's going to be a good event. They've done it for a few years now here in Jackson County, and we're just leveling it up a little bit. So yeah, we need sponsors. We need sponsors for the Jackson County 2026 Recovery Rally. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on, I wanted to extend a little bit of gratitude towards somebody that has helped me along my journey, somebody that has shared so much with me in a pretty short period of time. Mr. Steve Steinbrook, I just wanted to tell you thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me a chance. He's like one of the smartest dudes that I know. Steve Steinbrook is one of the smartest dudes that I know. And I'm not that, you know. I am not that, but Steve Steinbrook is one of the smartest guys I know. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to hang out with smart people. And and I'm a non-traditional thinker, and I don't necessarily conform to traditional social norms. And Steve Steinbrook is, and there's a few of those guys in my life that are just so smart. Steve Steinbrook, Jonathan Bradshaw, y'all know who you are, that are so smart that they will sit around and entertain my non-traditional ideas. They will entertain my non-traditional approaches. But I just wanted to thank Steve Steinbrook for influencing my life, for sharing so much wisdom with me, and for giving me a chance and being a part of this, because you've helped me in so many ways, man, that I can't explain. And so I just wanted to tell you thank you for that. And I wanted to tell you that I love you, man. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a wrap. That's all we got today for the Black Rabbit Collective. That was fun. Thank y'all for being here. Happy Mother's Day to the mamas. Jackson County Early College needs a basketball coach. Hit me up. I'm happy to do it. And show Tom that I bet you my basketball team could be their basketball team, because it's all about development and coaching. Yeah. So anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. Oh shoot. We're supposed to end it with the Jenny Lynn Hooper theme song. The Jenny Lynn Hooper. The Jenny Lynn Hooper. The Jenny Lynn Hooper Hauled In Here mixtape. The 2026 Summer Anthem of Jackson County, pulled directly, verbatim, word for word, from the April 7th Miss Jenny Lynn Hooper.
For years, I've heard that people were hauled in here and put out. How do you know
Yeah, this is not smooth.
that the people that you're helping are actually residents? For years, I've heard that people were hauled in here and put out, how do you know that the people that you're helping are actually residents of Jackson County? You just go by their word of mouth. If you did see new people every week with backpacks that I'd never seen before in the town, you put most of your resources to helping locals, because I know some that didn't have help for 3 years and they didn't have power or water and they were local. If somebody called you, would they be able to get in touch with you? Or do you have people that screen calls and maybe don't tell you? I just know of some instances that they said that you would not call them back. I just know of one person in particular that didn't have power or water for 3 years and they wasn't even given a gas voucher. The people that are coming in here and the people you're helping are so safe. Why do they have a locked door to their office? And the other thing, are you paid for your job? From what I've heard, staff that you work with go to other nonprofits and get stuff for themselves. I don't know if it's directly money, but they get things paid for. You don't feel like there was any other involvement with people that work within the office. I'm shocked you got that job with your prior record.